Starting now.
Now.
Oh,
We're here now.
what up?
Now.
What up?
Now. In the
Now.
moment.
You
Just
in
did
the
a
house
mic
doing
check.
a podcast?
Did you say now or
Yeah,
meow?
now everyone's mics are on this week.
Yeah. We got that right.
It's
Yeah.
extraordinary.
Figured
if I
out
do say
how
so
to work
myself,
the switches.
How we manage to fuck up every week.
This
How
is
are
like
your
This
mornings,
week,
guys?
we are not fucking up.
this is
How
like
are
the
your
first time.
mornings?
This is the first time we've
I
actually
hate
got this.
My morning was
And I love
good.
lasagna.
It's
Garfield.
Friday.
Ladies and gentlemen, Garfield, ladies and gentlemen.
Garfield Wall.
It's so weird to hear him because he's not moving his mouth, but we can hear everything that he's thinking, which is fantastic. I've never seen that in real life before.
It's
How about you
very-
guys?
A lot of racist stuff.
Damn.
In
Yeah.
Garfield?
Yeah. No,
Like
in
what?
you.
Like me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Inside of you. In your heart.
He's a walking racism.
Got a lot of guilt inside me, dude. Got a lot of guilt.
Don't be a pussy.
I got a lot of white guilt. Anybody else got some white guilt? You don't have white guilt. You're Asian.
Who are you why are you talking to Danny when you say that?
No, you're Asian.
Talking to you, Matt.
You're looking
No.
at Danny when you say
No,
that.
he was looking at you, Matt.
You can't. You can fool me, but you can't fool the
kidding.
listeners.
Your attitude's very
I can
pointed right
fool the
now.
listeners. I'm trying to fool the listeners because they can't see us.
They can't see anything we do.
No. They can't.
But
see
they can
anything.
feel it in their
Excuse me.
hearts.
Hopefully.
I feel like.
That's the dream.
We're hoping that you all can feel our love.
because you
Danny?
can't see.
Yes, Gabriel.
Roll the intro.
All right. Rolling. 3, 2, 1.5, 1.2, 1.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1.
I'm borderline alcoholic.
Is that supposed to be backward speech, or is that like
Aramaic.
The
Yeah. It's Aramaic.
What am I thinking of? You know those televangelists who like will get
Oh.
like a group of people. They'll speak like gibberish.
Yeah, tongues.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking in tongues. That's what I thought you were doing.
That.
Yeah. It's
like
actually
that,
backwards.
That kid
speaking
on
in
the wild
tongues.
thornberries.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's even
just-
more
it's
fucked
just
up.
wild thornberries, honestly.
You know that kid's voiced by Flea from the Chili Peppers.
By Flea's
What?
bass?
No, by Flea's voice. He uses his voice.
Wait, what, do you mean the little kid from Wild Thornberry?
Yeah.
Right, his
He
bass.
doesn't play the bass?
He's voiced by Flea.
Oh shit, that's cool. That's very cool.
Are you
Unless I'm
trolling?
wrong, I'm like.
Are you
90% sure
trolling?
he's voiced
I
by-
know.
You might be wrong, though. You might be very wrong. Matt's gonna search it up.
I'm searching it up.
Do it up. Do it up.
Did we decide what we were gonna talk about?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about exactly what Matt just talked about.
Or are we just
Well,
coming
we're already on the subject. We
Television.
started with
should
Television.
Garfield,
first ask questions later.
and then we talked about the
Yeah.
Wild Thorn. We brought up the Wild
Television.
Thornberries, and now that can be a perfect
Tell all
segue
about your
into
vision, Danny.
I
my
have nothing
vision.
to say about
Let me see. I just had a vision.
That's so Raven.
Oh.
I had
That's
a
so fucking Raven.
I had a vision. I
Is that
saw
really Raven, though?
all of us
Raven's the most-
sitting in this room,
Bill Cosby.
and Bill Cosby was there as well, and he
Oh,
was
shit.
he was
Wait.
lecturing us about how to
You
pick
have
up
a memory
women.
about Bill Cosby?
No, I'm seeing into the
His whole
future.
goal is to make sure that you don't have memories.
I have a vision. That's terrible.
Oh, I think somebody was knocking at the door.
I don't think so. I didn't hear anyone.
Ah,
knock.
Bill Cosby, no!
Bill Cosby.
Oh no, keep him out.
Jello pudding pops.
You guys hear that he's losing
Like the
all of
Kodak
his.
film.
got a Jello pudding pop, chocolate Jello pudding
Danny's trying to talk, Chris.
You guys hear
Sorry,
that he's
I was trying to
losing
do
all
that-
of his
trying to
like
do a
honorary
podcast.
doctorates from all the schools
Oh,
that.
that's sad.
How
that
many
he's-
honorary doctorates does he
Well,
have?
no,
Probably
like
a
he's
lot.
honorary
He throws those
awards
around.
and shit, and he's just losing all of them because no one wants to be affiliated with Bill Cosby. That's really sad.
So
And what's really amazing is that the guy who
longer.
made Rick and Morty has this series on
Justin
YouTube.
Roiland?
Yeah, he has this series on YouTube called House of Cosbys, about this guy who clones Bill Cosby. He's a big Bill Cosby fan. He finds a piece of his hair and he starts cloning him. Every 10th clone he makes has superpowers, and so he's just like endlessly cloning Bill Cosby. And it's actually got a cease and desist letter from Bill Cosby himself.
really,
It's so
Too
ma-
accurate, man. Too accurate.
it's so stupid and childish, but at the same time, it's very very.
did he follow the cease and desist letter, or did he?
I don't know. I think last time I saw
Keep
there was
waiting.
only like 7 episodes. Maybe he got it then because I haven't seen any more.
I think I'll check that out.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to check out.
Is it done by Flea?
It's Flea.
Hey,
Flea does
crazy.
a number of characters, but mostly Donnie.
oh that's cool.
Donnie's a kid.
I love how Tim Curry plays
else does he
Nigel
do?
Thornberry.
I I don't know. I just.
Oh, God damn it, Matthew.
Tim Curry. He was also Pennywise the Clown, wasn't
He was Pennywise the Clown. That was that not only was that a really freaky movie, but also very funny
It was hilarious.
because of how bad it was.
Because Tim
What
Curry
movie was
is the
it?
worst
It.
clown
Oh,
ever.
Stephen King's It, the two-part miniseries.
Shit.
I watched
was-
The Evil Dead
Which
a
Evil
couple
Dead?
days ago.
Which Evil Dead?
Evil Dead 2, the first, the
Oh, the
from
good-
the
Oh.
from
the
1989.
comedy.
That's a good one. Oh, it's
Was it a
kind of comedy.
comedy?
So
Evil Dead
Man,
two.
it's just some
It-
interesting stuff.
it breaks down like this. Evil Dead, the trilogy of Evil Dead movies, Evil Dead 1, kind of had some funny moments in it because it was
But
kind of making
it was
fun of.
unintentional.
Oh, the second half of it had no humor, but like to me, I felt it was kind of funny because the first half feels like it's making fun of horror movies.
I thought that was just because they had no budget, so they couldn't actually make it scary. So it just came out hilarious.
It had some awkward, very very awkward jokes.
Yeah.
Or like they weren't jokes, but you still found it funny anyway. But then the second half is just really fucked up and.
I feel like Evil Dead 2
satanic.
was actually legitimately a piece of art. It was pretty scary.
What?
And
It
the
bridged-
cinematography was
With the
actually
motorcycle
really
monsters?
interesting. I only
Every
watched.
time they show the monster point of view, it's just a fucking motorcycle sound. It's like as they
Is
go
it?
through the forest. Yeah, did you not notice?
it was
that?
like
It's been a while since I've
No,
seen
it was like
Evil Dead 2.
it was like a motorcycle.
It's been a very long time since I've seen it.
I
Evil.
thought it
Still
was
talking
good.
about Evil Dead.
Oh yeah.
No,
are you
Evil
are
Dead
you not
2.
familiar?
Kind of tuned out because I haven't watched Evil Dead.
Oh,
Did
it's
anyone
like
watch
it's
the
like a
remake,
classic.
I didn't watch.
I saw it on Netflix
I heard-
and I was
hold
like,
on.
I'm not fucking.
I
going
heard
near
the
that.
remake
Cool.
was supposed to be comedic.
All the movies are comedic.
Oh, never mind. Then.
Yeah, they
So,
all
like,
ended up being pretty comedic.
There's Evil Dead 2 kind of bridged the gap, between horror and comedy until we get to Army of Darkness, which is the third movie,
Where
which is
he
just
has fucking
complete
chainsaw
comedy.
arms.
It's not even a horror film at all.
He has a chainsaw arm.
Is this
Yes, he
similar
has a
to the
chainsaw
scary movie?
arm and he has a shotgun in his other hand.
Oh, I've seen a
This
clip of this.
Is my boomstick?
Is this
Classic
similar to a
line.
scary movie, or am I being a noob
No,
for saying that?
no, not.
The first two movies were scary. The third one had no horror in it. It was just pure comedy.
But were the first two trying to be like completely scary?
Oh,
First
yeah.
one was trying to be scary. Second
Yeah.
one, I
But-
think they were self-aware that people laughed at the first
Yeah,
one.
exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know?
I found it pretty.
Really?
Well, of course it was scary.
It took itself. It seemed to take itself seriously.
Oh, but it still had
Yeah.
still had funny moments though.
It had campy moments.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if the
Wait,
campy
doesn't
moments
she
were
get raped by a
intentional,
tree in the second one?
that's in the first one.
Oh, okay.
That was very controversial, and then the way they handled that in the remake, just the whole all of the remake
she
made
got-
me
she got
cringe
raped.
like
Every
crazy.
horror
Yeah.
movie I was watching, I started watching Evil Dead, and then I was with my girlfriend. My girlfriend was like, "This is boring. Turn it off." And so we watched some other horror movie, and I realized that every horror movie since 1998 pretty much follows the same formula. They move into a new house, something scary about it, it's a ghost, and then everything's fine.
It's a joke.
And then that's basically every fucking horror movie.
That's the
from
that's the
1998.
staple for Hollywood Hollywood productions of horror
fucking so
films.
disgusting.
There's always some kind of the monster is always someone or something that is clearly known by the audience. They know exactly who it is and what they're doing. For the most part, there's a couple exceptions like
Babadook.
yeah,
Babadook
that's
was-
actually a really good one.
I didn't like it.
It-
I thought you made
what
a
is it?
random
It
noise.
Follows?
Is that another movie?
Oh, is that?
Follows is another one where you don't.
it is
It
not
just
onomatopoeia.
follows people around. It's like
Yeah.
a curse almost that follows.
It's a bit the concept of it is kind of cool, but at the same time kind of silly. But the
Yeah.
presentation of this and the style of the movie is what saves it.
What, Babadook?
No,
No,
it follows, but the Babadook
Oh,
is
I
a
haven't
really
watched
good
it,
one
so
as
Babadook
well.
follows.
Scary,
yeah.
dude.
Babadook was not that scary to me.
It's not scary in the sense that there's like
It's
a monster trying to kill. It's
Yeah,
like
it's just
it's
creepy.
very psychologically harrowing.
Is it?
Yeah. Like I was watching it and like it just made me feel uncomfortable the whole way through.
Oh, there's a lot of discomfort in like the way that the kid is like really socially maladjusted, and you have to watch the mom put up with it.
right.
That's uncomfortable. But I wouldn't say it's like, well, no, it is uncomfortable because you actually feel empathy for her, and you feel like empathetic embarrassment. But I wouldn't say it's a scary movie. I wouldn't say it's like a scary discomfort. It's more like that's a bad scene to watch.
Right. Well, you probably went into the movie thinking that it was going to be like this intense monster film because that's how the trailer was like developed, and that's why when I first saw the trailer, I was just like, ew.
Ew.
another one of these movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
it looks
that-
like another one of those movies.
But when it comes to making movies and releasing movies, it's all about marketing. So if you don't make your trailer right, then there's a chance that no one's gonna go see your fucking movie.
Right.
And that's why the Babadook trailer was like that and tried to present that kind of movie when it wasn't that kind of movie.
And
at
it's
all.
scary that just like it, how well that marketing works tells me that there's just most people just want to be shoveled bullshit into their mouth.
No, it's
right?
just whatever.
They
is
just want
easiest
give me
to
another one, a
digest.
haunted house movie.
Yeah,
I just
that's
more
the main
bullshit,
thing.
Pull it
That
on my face. And
Yeah, it's whatever's easy to digest.
I
It's just
pretty
like-
much never really watched horror movies.
You
Like
don't watch
I have
anything.
seen some horror movies. No, I do. I
he
do
watches
watch
The
movies.
Wire. Well, actually, he watches a lot of shit.
Matt
that can be
Yeah,
kind
I-
of
Yeah, he
scary.
watches tons of shit.
I don't watch a lot of movies. I watch more TV shows than I do movies.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that.
But
will,
just
dude.
growing up, I guess nobody in my family really cared to watch horror movies a lot, so I never really watched them a lot. I think the last one I watched was like the first Insidious.
Oh yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And all those found
Exactly.
footage
And like I'm
movies
not.
are-
I guess the ones I have seen, like I haven't been impressed enough to keep on watching horror movies.
Oh god, they're shit nowadays.
I
It's
always
awful.
say if you want to get into like horror movies, just go read up and watch Hellraiser, like the first Hellraiser.
Yeah, that's a
Second one's good
classic.
too.
Oh, I,
Second
Third
one's
one falls the
okay.
fuck off.
Yeah.
Wait, is third one or fourth one that falls off? Third one.
No, after the second one. Even
Yeah.
the second one was kind of not that great.
Yeah,
you know, but
second
you know
one's
what?
pushing It, but first one's so good.
I've
the
been
first
seeing
one
it on
is
Netflix,
good
I'm thinking of watching it.
Up until the last 20 minutes. It's
Which
like
one,
they
first
get
one?
in the first one, yeah, because they
Yeah.
get to. It's like Clive Barker gets to this point where it's that part where that guy gets like torn apart, and then by the end of that, it just feels like, oh, now.
But what do you guys?
Now I
like
just
in
gotta
horror
like quickly
movies?
wrap this up.
What makes a good horror movie?
I see jump scares do nothing for me,
No.
right?
Mhm.
It's like if I wanted a jump scare, I just like look in the mirror.
Yeah,
But,
you don't need a horror movie to have a jump scare.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
You can put jump
So-
scares in anything.
With
Exactly.
me, it's all about like the backstory to it. Is it because with Hellraiser, it's all about this like ancient backstory of how this cube releases or is like a portal to another dimension where it's all torture and
Pain and pleasure
yeah, pain and
together
pleasure. There's
in
no,
one.
There's no line between pain and pleasure.
The
So
ultimate
everything-
pain is the ultimate pleasure.
Exactly. So that's where Pinhead comes from. So it's the guy with all the pins in his head, right?
He
That's
was
pure
known
pleasure
as
for him.
he was known as lead Cenobite before he became a brand and a logo
So is
for
it? Is
Hellraiser.
it?
Yeah.
What makes it like a horror film? Is it more like it's just really disturbing?
It's really
It is
disturbing.
very disturbing, but there is an engaging story
Mm-hmm.
behind it. It's about this this woman and her husband. They move into their brother's house, and the brother is the guy you see at the beginning of the movie. They live into this house. Their marriage isn't that great. The guy that she's married to has a daughter, so there's a contrast between this nice, lovely character here and then this evil witch here. So the contrast there works well. And then she discovers that Frank, the guy from the beginning, comes back to life from being in that dimension, and he's like, please, you have to help me. You promised when we had that affair, you promised that you would do anything for me. You would do anything for me. And so she's forced in with that that bond between them, she's forced to kill people for him so that he can come back to life, so that
Yeah,
they can be
it's like
together
their life
once
source,
again.
Their blood and everything.
So that's the main story of the film, and then everything else, the backstory of the Cenobites, all the horror stuff, that's all that extra stuff is what makes the movie really scary, because it's really fucked up and intense.
Yeah.
There's like a scene of like a Cenobite putting a face back together. The
Yeah,
face is in like
yeah.
pieces, and it's just like trying to
because
construct.
the
It's
hooks
so
ripped it
weird.
apart, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna scare you. Honestly, that movie's not really gonna scare you, but you're gonna be so like
It's more like it's just like
intrigued with
twisted.
it.
Yeah.
you're
No-
just
no-
gonna
nothing
watch
really
it.
scares
Yeah, I
you
kind
when
of
you
like
watch
that
movies.
kind of stuff.
Past the age
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
12, nothing really
Chris, what scares
you?
you in movies?
What scares me in movies?
Yeah.
I like when there are monsters that are themselves suffering. Like,
Okay.
have you seen Silent Hill?
Yeah.
Or played the video game?
I've seen the movie and
I
I've
thought-
played a little bit of the game.
I thought the first movie, I saw it a long time ago, but I remember when I saw it, it seemed pretty good to me. And what was really scary was that the monsters themselves looked like they were suffering.
okay.
Like, Pyramid Head looked like he was kind of like in pain. Cause he
Yeah,
was
I
wearing
think I
his
know
fucking
what you're
big
talking
thing.
about.
And the things that like spat acid, they were like screaming and they sounded like they were in pain.
Well, the classic
And-
movie like that is Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
Because the monster's like ostracized and always just like all he wants to do is die or make friends.
there's
whichever comes
there's
first.
an interesting point about Frankenstein that the movies always got wrong. especially with the first Hollywood production of Frankenstein. They portrayed Frankenstein. Well, first of all, Frankenstein's the doctor.
No, yeah, it's Frankenstein's monster.
So Frankenstein's monster was portrayed as like this. He wouldn't talk. In the book, he learns to speak.
Yeah.
He becomes smart.
He's almost like more intelligent than anyone else. Right?
Yeah,
more
he, like-
intelligent than a human because he learns speech within like weeks.
And he gets revenge. He gets revenge on
Yeah,
the
He
doctor.
understands all these complex concepts.
If we could
and it's just like,
go back to movies that get the original story wrong. Little Red Riding Hood.
Wait,
Oh,
which
all the
which
brothers
film are you
Grimms.
talking? Which film are you talking about?
I don't know.
Right,
All of them.
isn't
They did,
Little Red
but
Riding Hood a
none of them.
Brothers Grimm?
None of them
Yeah,
include.
it's a Brothers Grimm story.
I don't think-
aren't all
I don't
of
think-
them like bastardized versions.
I don't
when
think
they-
any of them include where the wolf eats the grandmother and then bangs Little Red Riding Hood. I don't think they include
Oh.
Yeah,
that.
no, and it,
Yeah, that's
What
an
was-
actual.
because they
part of
tried
the
to
story.
tell that story for kids, and then
Yeah.
that's
wasn't
obviously
the
not
original like
appropriate for
Sleeping
kids.
Beauty or something? Doesn't he like fuck her to get her back to life or something like that?
I've never read the story, so
Yeah. I don't know.
Original, like
Yeah,
pre-Disney.
yeah.
pre Disney.
Yeah, it's like fucked up.
There-
Yeah.
Yeah.
there was
All
a
those movies
s-
Hold
got
on,
bastardized into these. Like,
And you're talking about
children's shit.
Little Red
Or
Riding Hood as
children's-
well. Like that's supposed to be like a twisted story. or
Yeah.
something?
Little Red
They're
Riding
supposed
Hood,
to
the
be
wolf
horror
eats the
stories.
grandmother.
That's supposed
and-
to be twisted.
Yeah.
of course.
Well, it's not really a horror story because it's supposed to be like coming of age and sexuality for women and stuff.
Sure.
But the wolf, or I just bumped my mic. The wolf bangs Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
Rapes,
That-
sort of
It's pretty
coercive
much- yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
You know what? They kind of tried that in if you guys seen the musical Into the Woods,
No.
where well, it originated on stage and they basically just mixed all these fairy tale stories together. They made a movie about it 2 years ago or a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they follow Little Red Riding Hood, and Johnny Depp plays the wolf. It's kind of weird looking because he still looks like a person and not a wolf. So it's like, bless you. It's like if they were to do it on stage. That's how they film this movie with the makeup on Johnny Depp, and he's singing this song and he's like being really, really like seductive toward Red Riding Hood, as if it's clear in his mind that he wants sex with this like 12-year-old girl.
Oh right, I forgot to include she's 12.
She's a little girl.
She
Yes.
is also a minor.
Man,
yeah.
we should have had this like
On Halloween.
a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. How about we
Release it
switch
next
gears
year.
and go back to TV, which was
Okay,
the
hold
original.
on.
Well, okay.
If we're going to transition,
Okay, Matt.
I just want to note I went to a show yesterday. I went to go see Life Story Monologues reunion show at Sneaky D's.
Shout 'em out.
Went to see New Design because they were opening. So I'd never heard of Life Story Monologue prior to hearing about the show, but I looked them up and I was pretty impressed. So I went to the show. Good show, hosted by Homesick, and I was just looking at the event page and just found out that Homesick has $3 drinks before midnight.
Really?
What the hell?
For
Damn.
any drink?
I don't
Why
know.
were you?
Oh.
How are you
Dude,
transitioning
any drink
with
for
that?
$3?
Matt, how did you want to transition?
Yeah, what is the
I
transition?
don't. Well,
That was not
I
a
just didn't
transition.
want to say before because it would have been completely off topic.
Well, still.
So now that-
is.
It
was
still
like
is.
rude.
No.
was
It
like
still is
rude.
off
No, no, no,
topic.
we can transition again
All right.
because
All right,
we
TV.
transitioned
Matt,
from one
Matt.
We should
topic
get money for that.
to this.
Matt,
you know?
TV,
Talk about television.
television.
Okay.
All right. So I just want to
about
start
TV.
out like what. I know we all watch Rick and Morty
Yeah.
religiously.
I haven't.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't. No, well,
Have you
I
seen
haven't-
second season yet?
no.
Okay,
I
well,
haven't.
you're,
Should get on
you're
that.
slacking, dude.
I'm
Because
an
I've already been
idiot.
through it twice.
It's so good.
I'm a
Have you
bad
have you
person
seen any
inside.
of the original Doc and Marty shorts? That's
No,
like-
yeah,
I-
the Doc
Lick the
Marty-
ball- lick my ball, Marty.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, jeez, Rick, man, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw the one
I
where
don't know.
there's fellatio involved.
Oh yeah.
with
saw that one.
that one's more of the Back to the Future parody. There's another one. There's actually two more that are really
Isn't
funny.
there a Gatorade commercial one?
I
Or they like
think
plug
so.
Gatorade in it? It's just like Gatorade, the shit I like to drink. It's like shit I like to drink.
There's one where
Classic.
they were talking about Channel 101, which was the film festival that Dan Harmon, you know Dan Harmon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who
Who's Dan Harmon?
Community.
created Community, and
yeah.
he's
And
the
Rick and
co-creator of Rick and Morty. So he co-founded this festival, and that's
Yeah.
where he discovered Justin Roiland, because that's where he premiered Doc and Marty,
Oh
and he had a
my
couple of
God.
Doc and Marty.
Hold on. Justin
videos.
Roiland. Is Justin Roiland the guy
He
who
does-
voiced Bender?
No,
He does Lemon
What's-
Grab and
what's-
Adventure
Lemon
Time.
Grab and Adventure
He does like
Time.
a bunch of characters in Adventure Time, but he does Rick and Morty.
And he's the
Okay.
creator, the main writer,
Yeah, the voice just
and
sounded
the
very
voice of
familiar.
Rick and Morty, both of them together. And when Adult Swim approached Dan Harmon, they were like, "Hey, we want a new show," and he's like, "Oh, I can't think of anything, but Justin's got this cool thing. I'll make this with him."
This fucked up shit. If you want it.
And that's why Rick and Morty is kind of fucked up, but it's also got
Structure.
Oh, he toned
it's also
it
got
back.
structure.
He
Yeah.
toned it back hard for the
Yeah,
TV show.
yeah, because the
The
mi-
original was just like
the
a grandpa making his grandson lick his balls
Yeah.
for power. That's essentially the
see
plot.
that would make
Wow.
that would still make a cool Adult Swim show, but it was
Are you gonna
Dan
say
Harmon's
adult
idea. It was Dan Harmon's idea to create the show around the family,
Yeah.
because then that's what makes
Family.
that's what makes the show a sitcom, because it's all about
Right.
what's going on in their family. And that was the same thing with King of the Hill, because Mike Judge
what a
Mike
good show.
Judge was the creator of Hank
Oh,
and
In-
Peggy
in Beavis and
and
Butthead,
the
they
Son.
were-
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was this other guy named Greg Daniels who co-created the show, and it was his idea to add more characters to make it more of a sitcom so that it could last longer. Because when you have more
are good
characters
shows.
in a TV show, it's so much easier to create new stories that'll focus
Right.
on each character.
Right.
That's why South Park.
Although the King of the Hill, like supporting characters, there's only like 2 that are actually good. Then the rest are just garbage.
Boomhauer is essentially not real.
Yeah, Boomhauer's hilarious.
Is he the one who's
Hilarious,
is he
not
the one who
really
speaks? Doodle
Yeah,
dang dang.
It's Hank's 2 friends.
Bill and
There's
Dale.
Yeah, yeah.
Bill, Dale,
Dale,
and Boomhauer.
And Boomhauer. Those are the only good supporting characters. The rest that they bring on and stuff are like pretty lackluster.
Like, well, Connie is good. Connie is actually like a well-rounded character.
Mhm.
I feel like the way King of the Hill is made, though, like just the kind of environment in that show, all like a lot of the supporting characters, I feel like they're not supposed to have substance.
No, they're supposed to be
Oh,
very
yeah,
like
I know.
shallow, just
One-dimensional.
idiots.
They're just devices for the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like John Redcorn.
They're all
Oh,
everything in King of the Hill is just there so that
John Redcorn.
Hank can go what?
What? Yeah, they're all what device. They're just a...
What? Bobby?
Hank encounters it and goes, what?
What? I saw propane and propane accessories. What?
Propane and propane what?
I sell propane accessories.
I'm okay, Dad. I'm okay, Dad.
Man, I wish I knew King of the Hill more so that I could.
That's not even King of the Hill. That's a parody someone made.
Is that YouTube poop or is that Oni NG?
Oh wait,
Oh, it might have been Oni.
which YouTube poop? I've seen a couple of great King of the Hill YouTube poops.
Oh, YouTube poop.
It's basically they made Hank
I look
Hill
like I know what a JPEG?
Ash from Pokemon,
Okay.
and they made Bobby Butterfree, and he's like Butterfree, and sends out Bobby, who is Bobby's head on Butterfree's body,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
he gets like killed basically, and Hank. He's like running up, he's going, Butterfree! And then Bobby just turns his head and he goes, I'm okay, Dad.
I've never seen this one.
So good, I'll send it
It's
to you later.
hilarious.
I've seen the ones by a guy named Durham Rockers.
No idea.
He's made some of the best YouTube poops that are
I
out
like how we
there.
spent
on
like 5
YouTube.
minutes on Hank Hill YouTube.
I know, but like they're, you know what? I feel like if imagine if TV shows were like how YouTube poops
I
were
think Rick
animated.
and Morty showed that.
Yeah.
With,
they're
with
getting
both
into
their
it.
interdimensional
Like
shows.
if more TV was a lot like Adult Swim, because I feel like Adult Swim is like
It's
its own specific.
well, too many
entity.
cooks was eat.
Yeah, it's
That's
its
adult-
own-
that was
it's
an
like
Adult
its
Swim
own
thing.
genre.
Yeah,
Yeah, Adult
Adult Swim
Swim
is its own thing.
is just
Absolutely.
for people who have a fucked up sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like,
but they're doing great things.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you guys,
Have you
guys seen Alan Tutorial?
Yeah.
no, we're
Blew my
fuck.
fucking
yeah.
mind. Mind-blowing fucking experience. Then I found out who it was, Alan Resnick, and I was like, oh wow.
Who's Alan Resnick?
He's the guy who does it. He's the guy who does Alan Tutorial. He's an adult.
No,
Swim.
but-
He works with Adult Swim. He's done,
Okay.
he's done a
Oh, he
bunch of
does.
stuff.
What else does he do for Adult Swim?
I don't know. The only thing I care about that he did was Alan Tutorial. But you guys have
Because-
to check
What
out
is it?
fucking Alan
Because there's a
Tutorial.
there's a series on
Wow.
Adult Swim called Off the Air. You know Off the Air?
No, I don't know.
It's like these 11, 12-minute videos of like a whole bunch of different people like submitting an animation or any kind of like bits. They put them all together. They're all kind of under one theme. So there's one on like transportation. There's one on death. There's one on light. They just released one on holes. The theme is holes, and the very first thing is an Alan Tutorial video.
Really?
When I first saw Alan Tutorial, I thought this was just really weird. Some
Can I
weird
get
guy.
Can I
Yeah.
get like a too long didn't watch Alan Tutorial synopsis?
No.
What does it
Basic,
say?
every tutorial is like, hey guys, so welcome
Hey,
to my
tutorial
YouTube
heads.
channel. I'm going to show you how to drill a hole in a can.
And he does it like fucked up and really bad.
No, but in the first couple
I
of
think I've
videos,
seen them.
it's kind of like just bad and weird. But then the more videos you go into, it's like it gets weirder and
there's
weirder.
a story arc, a really
Okay, I might have seen
Really
some
vaguely
of them, but didn't watch
suggested
them all.
story arc.
Because I remember I was going through them all because they're like how to basic, but not just retarded.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
it's not really how to. But calling it a how to basic clone is just doesn't
Yeah,
do
no,
it.
No,
because
it
how
doesn't
to
do
basic
justice.
basically took like Alan Tutorial or all these shitty tutorials and just like threw eggs at it. Like
Yeah.
it's not comedy.
Yeah, it's
And
not.
then-
No, well, nowadays it's just like
Yeah,
shoving as
no, at
much
the start,
shit as
at the start
possible.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It started out normal.
He's
and
just
stuff
trying
like
too
that.
hard now.
But there's this guy who makes like 3 to 6 second YouTube videos, and they're just how to do mundane tasks, but he does them wrong. So it's like he's like, hey guys, I'm gonna show you how to put this plank on the floor, and it's like leaning up against a wall, and he just like takes it and
That's
drops.
Alan Tutorial.
Okay, that's it.
Yes,
that's
he's
it.
like, how to
Oh no,
uncover-
but that's like a really short video, right?
Yeah.
How short is it?
No, it's Alan Tutorial. It has to be.
Oh, okay.
Because no one else makes a video of how to like put a plank on the ground or how to uncover a plank or something.
Yeah, how to
but he just
uncover
does it
plank
wrong.
from or something.
Because no, and in
he
one
spends
video,
his time in this like shitty fucking room, and then at one point he's locked out of the room, and then in the next video it's him trying to get water with some jug tied to a string, and then he's in the forest, and
Yeah.
then he's just burning this desk. He has this video
Yeah.
called How to Change.
it's no,
It
there's no,
changed my fucking life. when I
there's
watched
no,
this
there's
video.
no sound at all. It's just him walking into the middle of this
Yeah.
field, burning a desk, and then this like really happy, upbeat music starts playing in the middle of it.
There was sound
Oh,
at the
there-
beginning, and
oh,
then
there
he
was?
re-uploaded or something without sound.
Oh,
you
that
guys
just
seen
made it
Nature
very
Walk?
freaky to me.
Nature
What?
Walk?
Nature Walk.
Oh,
Nature
yeah,
Walk,
I've
dude.
seen a couple of those.
You
I
know
haven't
it's
seen all
cool
of them.
because it's the way it is. so
Oh, is
good.
that Alan Tutura?
No,
No,
it's
it's a
Nature
different
Walk.
Oh.
I'll send it to you guys.
That
later.
Alan
It's
Resnick
good.
guy, I think he's honestly a genius.
Yeah.
I think he
You're
is a
way
fucking...
too far away from the mic. Say it again.
Oh, sorry, Alan Resnick is a genius.
Yeah,
And if
I
he's
agree.
listening, which he isn't,
Definitely not.
Who- no
We should
one's
send it to
listening.
him. We should just like.
But we should
package
send
it
it
into
to
this
him.
podcast, just
Alan-
into Adult
Alan,
Swim.
I love you. Touch
Yeah.
me. Anyway,
Okay, so TV.
geographically and bodily.
We all watch
anywhere.
Rick and Morty.
Okay.
What else are you guys watching, or what else do you watch? Because I know I watch a lot of Arrested Development, a lot of Always Sunny.
Eh.
I think okay
Some
shows
of the newer episodes.
shows
of
that
those
are currently
out.
on right now that are like in season. The only ones that I'm currently watching are The Nick, which is
Oh yeah,
Clive
I've heard
Owen,
that. Mhm.
Okay.
and I'm watching The Walking Dead, but I think it's shit.
It
The
got
Walking
shit after
Dead-
the second season.
For me, The
I
Walking Dead
agree.
is like
halfway
Leafs.
through the second season, I
Yeah.
lost interest.
It's
First season was
shit. I know it's shit,
First
but I
season
still
was
watch
one of
it.
the best, one of the best first seasons in recent history on TV.
I
and
didn't
then they
like
just,
it that much. Didn't hold
No,
me.
because
don't
at the
know.
start it was actually like they were trying to do things that you would assume people would try to do in the zombie apocalypse. Then afterwards, it's just like, oh, how can we make drama?
Here's the
Yeah.
thing.
Fucking make like,
Okay, for me,
romantic
I can't.
situations
I
or
don't know if I
someone
can
die.
judge. I don't know if I can judge the first season like that because I started watching it late. So when I watched the first season of
Right.
The Walking Dead, I was able to just marathon it pretty much.
The first season of The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just binged until I caught up like halfway to the third season. I'm like, this show is great. And then right when I hit that point and I started like being able to watch weekly, I'm like, wow, this show sucks.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's I don't like it.
Let me pose a
I'm not gonna
question.
watch.
It's
I'm
so-
not gonna watch Fear of the Walking Dead.
No, no.
I'm
What
not
is
gonna even
that?
start that.
It's
It's a
a
spin-off they
spin-off?
made.
Yeah, but
that's
in
apparently the
California
same
instead of
thing
in
with
Georgia.
yeah.
It's
exactly.
like right at the
Same
the-
shit, different
right
place.
at the
Exactly.
very end of like the major cataclysmic apocalyptic event. So it's like everything has just gone to shit,
Yeah.
and now it's following characters going through
But
that.
it's like
So let me-
Walking Dead. What they did was it was just like nowadays it's like, oh, how can we create conflict? Oh, there's
Right,
another
right,
group
right.
with guns that
Yeah,
have more guns than us.
yeah.
Oh, how are we gonna defeat them? Like
What ruins a TV show for you guys?
when-
the second it stops being, or either okay, two things. Either it stops being self-aware, so it stops understanding that it's like trying to do something for a purpose, or the second it starts fan service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
will
right.
turn
Yeah.
me off of the show immediately.
For
And
me,
The
it's-
Walking Dead has like the worst fans.
Oh, well,
Like generally speaking, I don't like the fan base of The Walking Dead.
I mean, there's probably
It's
good
like every
fans,
every
there's
time a
probably
character
horrible
dies.
fans, but-
Okay, I've heard comparisons to Game of Thrones, where people
definitely.
think The Walking Dead is like ruthless in the way they kill off characters, and people are like, no, but if you watch Game of Thrones, like The Walking Dead is so soft when it
Well,
comes to killing off
I
characters.
think there's like a competition between the two shows right now, where a lot of people watch both, but
I
not a lot of
don't.
people pick, like,
I
one.
don't think there is, to be
No?
honest, because
I don't know, man.
AMC is a basic cable network. Everyone has
Yeah.
access to it.
No.
HBO.
No, but
what?
no,
Not
okay.
basic.
It's not basic cable.
I got basic cable. I don't have it.
AMC's
I
not
thought-
basic
oh,
cable.
well,
No, it's
it's-
extended. It's
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, hang on. It's
like Channel
basic.
50
It's basic cable in the U.S.
fair enough.
I think that's what
but
I- that's what I
HBO is
meant.
also more accessible.
Yeah, no, but HBO is a premium network. You have to pay actually. You have to pay like a lot
but that
extra
doesn't
for
stop
it.
people from watching Game of Thrones. You know, they
Right.
probably
Oh, yeah,
get
that's true.
a ridiculous amount of viewership each, and I think both shows, like the people who watch both shows, are always just like, oh, which one's more intense, right? Neither.
That's
Game
the
of Thrones,
stupidest
Game
debate
of Thrones
ever
has
to
actually,
have.
I think, fallen off too. I think Game of Thrones started out really.
I
cool,
never
and it's
watched
just
Game
like,
of Thrones.
I mean, I don't fault it. It's just like it's fallen off for me.
Generally
I
speaking,
less of a
never
fan-
liked-
fantasy more
Yeah.
than like the medieval setting.
I don't know.
of
Generally
it, so-
speaking, I never really liked that whole medieval fantasy.
No,
side.
I didn't.
I don't-
Like, I
Did you
liked-
watch Game of Thrones?
I loved Lord of the Rings when I was a kid. Never got started on Game of Thrones. My brother's really into it. It's like his favorite show, and I think my brother's the kind of person who, like, when he likes something, he talks
yeah.
so highly of it that it makes me just not want to like I don't want to.
That happens to me when
Yeah.
fan bases come to me and they're like, "You have to watch this show." I'm like, "Oh, you fucking
Yeah, I'm like,
disgust
nope.
me."
Now I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
gonna
like,
watch
let
it.
me find it by myself
Go away.
because it's gonna be better when I do.
I
it.
never watched
But still.
Breaking Bad until everybody shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah,
That's
same
when
here.
I fucking
I
started
got
watching it.
like
It
2
was
seasons
amazing.
into Breaking Bad, and then everyone was like, "Oh, dude, like, oh, you're not far enough in it, like, catch up." And then I'm just like, "All right."
Screw you. Now I'm
And
not watching it.
I stopped watching
I
it.
never got into Breaking Bad. I watched a couple episodes here and there, and then I tuned in for the premiere of the finale, and I was just,
Well, what'd you guys think since you guys watched it?
Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I didn't
Oh,
finish
so-
it. I
so
just stopped
good.
watching it.
I thought it was so good.
Right.
It took me took me half a season to actually get into it.
Yeah, first
It
season
takes half a
starts
season to
out
pick up.
so slow.
Okay, here's the
it's a
thing
show
about
about cancer,
I
not a
started
show about
watching Breaking Bad
drugs.
so late
Yeah.
that by the time I caught up, the only episode I was able to watch like caught up and actually stream it like on television
Mm-hmm.
was the series finale.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
did you
that
wa-
was when I caught up.
you
So
watched the
it was
series
like
finale?
perfect timing. Yeah, but
It doesn't mean much to you when you
No,
don't
but it's
see
a
the whole
great
thing,
show.
though.
I'm not
do you
gonna
mean?
bash it. I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's
not
one of
bad
the
show.
best
Seeing the
shows.
series finale doesn't mean anything to you if you haven't watched the whole series.
no.
No, he watched it all.
Yeah, I'm saying
And
I
then-
watched it all.
And
And
then,
then
like-
he watched on TV.
What I'm saying is
The
I
finale.
didn't. I started watching so late that by the time I caught up, the
Oh.
only episode that I was able to watch like
On TV.
live on TV.
Live.
Oh, was the
Live.
finale?
Yeah, it was the finale.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But I really liked Breaking Bad at the time. I thought it was like the best show ever.
It's a good show.
Yeah, but then I watched The Wire, and
I heard great
you
things.
guys
about The
know
Wire.
I still have to
The
get.
Wire-
I haven't seen it at all.
Wire-
I've
Wire-
heard
Wire-
great things
Pirated
about
The
it.
the
first
crap
season
out of it.
of The Wire
Haven't
is
watched
like
it.
one of the best seasons of TV
okay, here's the
ever.
thing. No.
Easily.
For me, with The Wire, getting started on it was a little bit slow. But also, I hadn't really watched
It's
HBO
only,
shows.
It's only like the first 2 episodes are actually. Slow.
It doesn't feel like HBO when I watch it. When
Well, it's
but
also
that's
older.
because it's
It's,
old HBO.
well, it's old HBO.
Oh,
Yeah, the thing is, with The Wire, that was the first show I've ever tried watching that had hour-long episodes. That might have been why it felt slow to me. But once I got into it, man, I just loved these characters and just watching these shows. And it's not like they don't make their characters like perfect people, you know?
No,
All of
in
their
that
characters
show.
are flawed.
Yeah, because
Oh,
you
that's
watch
like
so many
HBO
cop dramas, you
Hallmark.
watch so many
Yeah,
cop dramas,
yeah.
and it's like cops
Yeah.
are the good guys. Oh, we need to catch this bad guy. He's so fucked up, right? But HBO almost like flips it, and you
Yeah,
feel
exactly,
for the
exactly.
you feel for the kids who got born into this like fucked up situation, and the cops are sort of like have their
You
own
see
shit.
everyone as people,
Right.
you know, whether
Yeah.
they're a criminal or a cop. Some of the cops are criminals, but you see everybody as people in that show. And I think, yeah, I mean, by the time I got into it, I was gone. I was like, I love the show. I hadn't even finished it. I'm like, this is the best show of all time. I think the 4th season is the best.
Which one's that?
That's the one where they're looking at the educational system.
Yeah.
That was the best season of TV I've ever watched ever.
So in The Wire, is it like Is it like The Sopranos, where there's one constant story arc, or are they standalone?
There is
characters-
no. There is.
characters
It
tend to
is
stay, and there's-
one.
Yeah.
It's one constant story. But imagine The Sopranos if The Sopranos, like, kind of looked at New Jersey. You know, they're looking at just the state of being in New Jersey, and they were looking at different facets of crime. So, like, The Wire always had, like, the same police force. They were, like, that was, like, the main group.
Yeah.
But then they looked at, like, you know,
First
drug
season,
trade.
drugs.
Yeah,
Second
they looked
season's
at,
really-
I don't know.
starts off in the docks.
Yeah, they looked at, like, the dogs.
So
and
that's
stuff.
that brings me back to what ruins a television series for me, and I think the first thing that you guys reminded me of is lack of moral conflict. When it's just like these guys are the good guys, these guys are
Oh
the bad
my
guys.
gosh,
I
yeah.
fucking hate that shit.
CSI.
Yeah.
So
CSI.
what an awful way to present a story.
Yeah.
And in an environment, this is another thing I don't like about The Walking Dead. In an environment where it's supposed to be so dangerous that anybody can die, and you give a few characters like this massive plot armor, and they'll just
Yeah.
you know that no matter what happens, like, oh, they're gonna live.
Yeah.
And if one of them is going to die, they build up to it so much, it's like pretty obvious. Except for I don't know, there's exceptions, but
Yeah, I
mean,
want to see fucking just main
It's
characters'
predictable.
heads getting ripped off out of nowhere. There's no build up. That's a story.
Game of Thrones sort of did that
That's
in
a
the
story.
first season. Game
Oh,
of Thrones
jeez.
didn't build it up much, and then
Yeah.
it just happened.
Uh-huh.
But that was probably the best death.
For me,
Everything else got spoiled.
for me, the thing that ruins a TV show is when there's a significant change in the staff behind the show.
oh that
so
that usually
for example, with Walking Dead, the main creative force behind that was Frank Darabont. Frank Darabont was
right.
known for adapting Stephen King books into movies like The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile. And he wrote and directed the first episode, and that was the best episode of The Walking Dead that I've seen. And then after the first season, he got
Explain
booted.
That you've only seen one episode of The Walking Dead.
No, I've seen episodes. I've seen up to the middle of season 2, and then that's where I
Fair
dropped
enough.
off because like I
Season
lost
2
interest
was
after
boring.
that. Frank
Season
Darabont
3 is really bad.
Got booted because of creative differences. So
I want this show to be good. Fuck you.
and you know the same thing happened with Family Guy as well. Family Guy was actually kind of funny when it started.
then it got
Because
taken off the air, didn't it?
no, it got taken off the air twice. It got canceled twice
Right.
because it was on Fox, and Seth MacFarlane was making very risque jokes,
About
making political
Fox.
commentary about Republicans.
And Fox.
And Fox
or
is
was that after they came back? He just shit talked Fox.
no,
Stupid
maybe.
Fox.
He was like shit talking Republicans all the time, and then after the show got canceled for a second time,
Oops. Sorry.
it's a
Just
weird
move
sound.
Further away from you. so
Chris,
that
No,
you
man.
get
I lowered
closer
it.
to talk.
Anyway,
Chris,
continue.
You're the one in our group. I
Continue.
just have to say, you're the one in our group that sings. You
Yeah.
perform live,
But
and
you
you were
just
the
don't
worst.
fucking understand where a
You were the
mic goes.
worst with a mic.
Well,
Now you're just really close.
And now
Yeah.
you're really
All
close.
distorted.
There
Okay.
you go. That's better. That's better.
I'm not making a good case for myself.
No, you're like.
I'll stop now.
You're like, let me move
Everybody
this
just
further
keep-
away, so now I have to get in a worse
Right.
position.
Well,
in
I
5
know.
minutes, you're gonna
You know what?
lean
Hold
back.
on. Prepare. I'm gonna. That's good. That really peaked. Ooh. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Yeah,
My
that's
apologies.
that's
Goddamn, dude.
that's the main reason why Family Guy fell off the wagon, because then a whole new writing staff took over, making more Republican-friendly jokes. But MacFarlane stayed on as an executive producer, but had less creative input in writing, because then
Right.
I bet it was Fox just like, you still want to show with us? Then you can't do this kind of jokes.
Yeah, I feel like
That
South
kinda
Park's the
sucks.
only one who like kept what they like to do. the whole
Yes,
time.
Oh,
because
yeah.
the creators have always maintained creative control. They're always the directors. They're always the writers. The main issue with South Park, though, is that it is funny. It's just
It's
the
falling off a
pressure,
bit.
the pressure of them starting an episode and finishing it all in a week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I watched an interview and it said they usually have they usually have a couple like ideas in the bank where
Oh, okay, that's fair.
you know they
Yeah,
they'll-
but
they'll-
that's
they'll-
only if it's like a slow news week.
so they don't really
because they like
start
to do
yeah
the
they don't really
commentary.
start like
Yeah.
a new idea fresh.
No,
Necessarily.
No, they do. You
But
watch the
I'm
documentary
sure
They do,
on
I'm
it.
sure
they
they
do.
still come across like
They'll come up and they'll be like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah,
shit,
I'm sure
this
it's
happened.
hard,
yeah.
We need to do an episode on this, so
Th-
they do it.
They're always staying
Oh,
I'm
current.
sure that I
Yeah.
guarantee they have like a couple story arcs that they might want to throw in, and those probably become B story arcs, right?
That's what always annoys me when people get really mad when like they don't have an episode in the week. It's just like, man,
What,
why?
the Dark Weeks?
No.
They usually do like one a season.
Well, no, sometimes. Well, like there was one episode in this season where they missed a week. So it's like they have a new episode every week, and then they missed
yeah,
a
it's
week.
a dark week.
Yeah, and like
It's when
people
there's no South Park.
people get annoyed with that. And it's just like, man, you try and
Yeah.
write an episode each week and
Although
create a whole episode
South
each
Park
fucking
the
week.
last couple seasons, very good from the sense that they, have kept a like storyline throughout the seasons. Very bad in a South Park sense because South Park was always just like sort of one-off episodes.
Yeah.
With like sometimes they would tie back to something, but last season was just for the last final half of it.
It's the
it
PC
was-
principle.
well, that's this
Oh,
season.
yeah, yeah.
Is all
Oh,
about
that's
the
this
PC
season, yeah.
principle. Last season was all about the holograms, the Michael Jackson hologram. And Tupac
Oh, yeah,
hologram
and,
all that. And Lord.
Yeah, Lord.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
they had
yeah.
that Lord story.
Yeah.
Going back
Good
going back to how shows can change when you make significant changes to the writing staff. Community.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that was a huge example
Yeah.
where they basically cut off Dan Harmon, and then
Yeah, it went from being like really
yeah,
weird and really just like it was almost creepy in a sense because you would watch and you would just be like something's not right here because
it was off.
right?
Yeah, it was off.
And now it's just like situational comedy.
It's safe.
They dealt.
It's extremely
They kind of dealt with
safe.
the whole Chevy Chase situation, but I mean, having no Dan Harmon was like.
What was the
so-
Chevy Chase situation?
Didn't he say some
They were-
racist shit?
There were
Oh,
some
yeah,
conflicts.
yeah,
I think
he
like
got fired.
on one hand, Chevy Chase wasn't liking that his character on the show was racist and it was making people.
Oh right, he
like,
was the
not
opposite.
like him. No. But then in real life, he actually was racist,
Oh,
and
okay.
Oh,
I
that's
think some
weird.
people took issue with that, and it
He
just
was
wasn't
racist,
working
and
out.
what? Like, how was it found
I
out
don't
that
know.
he was racist?
I don't know what he
or
said.
not?
don't know.
I don't know.
But he said something.
People clearly didn't get along with him.
Maybe there was a public statement he made, and then
Possibly.
Possibly, I don't know.
ABC. What was it? NBC, ABC.
We like
Does anyone know
to
the
say a
network?
lot of things that we don't have the stats
And-
facts for.
Who's this network that's putting out shows like The Zoo? And a lot of them are on
National
Netflix.
Geographic.
No, it's not National Geographic. It's an actual show called The Zoo,
What's The
where
Zoo?
the premise is that animals have become like self-aware and they're pissed. And this is a
What the
serious
fuck?
show. This is a serious fucking show, and they're killing the fucking humans.
Okay, no
And
idea.
the
Probably.
I think it's NBC,
Oh,
but they're putting it.
it's
There's
definitely a big one.
it's the ones that are putting out like Green Arrow.
Oh, that's CW's Green Arrow.
CW or something. I don't know.
But that's probably not CW.
Oh, there's just like all the television
Fuck
that my
the
parents
CW.
watch just makes me fucking barf.
Right,
Watch
NBC.
that
NBC is a network with the Tonight Show, right?
Man, I don't
Is
know.
that-
I can't
is
remember.
it NBC?
There's too many of those shows to
Do you guys-
remember what network they come from.
Do you
Did we talk
guys?
about
Yeah, you know those shows. You know what I'm talking about. Those
talked about our
shows.
The
late
Tonight
night
Show, The Late
Did we
Show.
talk about-
Oh
late
no,
night
not variety
shows?
shows. I'm talking about the shows that are like
Yeah.
they're just like poorly thrown together, some stupid fucking premise, and they just stretch it out, and like
That could describe a lot
kind of like
for me.
kind of like and they're kind of like aesthetically like Green Arrow, like in the way
So
that it's
just
shot.
dark and like edgy.
Yeah, edgy. They're edgy. They're
man.
edgy. They're edgy.
Action.
Yeah.
Fucking edge masters.
Sci-fi.
Yeah, look up the Zoo.
Edge Lords.
Agents of
Edgelords.
Shield.
You can't change the words that you made up.
Fucking edgelords.
Hold on.
Yeah. So I mean
I-
something.
I did want to say something. Even if we have talked about talk shows before, do you guys know about that whole situation when Conan O'Brien
We
was supposed to
definitely
take
talked
over?
about this.
Have we talked about
Oh yeah, when Conan O'Brien was
We
supposed to
didn't
get
talk
the
about
Tonight Show from
yeah.
Jay
I'm sure
Leno,
we
did.
and then Jay Leno
Jay
went
Leno was
on
like,
Jimmy
nah.
Kimmel's show,
Yeah.
and Jimmy Kimmel like berated him and made all these jokes about not giving him the show.
No.
Not giving
What
him-
happened? What
I
happened
explained
with the
that
Jimmy?
fucking awfully.
With
Yeah.
the Jimmy Kimmel
Oh,
situation,
wow.
what happened was amidst this whole situation with the Tonight Show, Jimmy Kimmel was mocking Jay Leno on his own show, where he pretended to be Jay Leno and whatever. So Jay Leno responded by inviting Jimmy Kimmel onto the Tonight Show to do this segment called like 10 questions. It was a shitty segment where Jay Leno just asked like 10 basic questions to somebody just to get like answers. It wasn't funny or creative in any way, and Jay Leno sucks. But anyways,
Jimmy Kimmel
He-
goes on and just
Jimmy-
fucking
yeah.
tears him a new
yeah,
one.
he takes every opportunity to
Like any of the questions, he brings
like,
it back
mock
to
The
Jay Leno
conflict,
and
just so we're
talks
clear,
shit
is
about
that
I haven't seen this. I haven't seen this before.
Jay Leno would promise to give the show to Conan O'Brien and then didn't.
it. He just kept the show.
Yeah.
basically
No, didn't he give it
no,
to,
basically Jay
was it-
Leno promised to give Conan
Jimmy
had the
Fallon?
late night show at that time, and Jay Leno promised to give the show to Conan when he was done. Oh, somebody's at the door.
All right. Well, guess we have a guest.
Oop.
We have a guest.
We'll get back to this later. We have a guest. Who is this? Is this Michael Shanahan?
Julian.
It's
we have a
Julian
guest on the
Janetta.
podcast.
Hey,
Come
Julian.
in here.
Come on
here,
in.
Julian.
There's someone
Come in
behind
here.
you. Oh,
Julian, let us ask you some questions.
Julian, come
Julian.
take my seat. Come take my seat. You're on.
10 questions with Julian Janetta.
All right.
Julian
We're
Janetta,
taking this
welcome to
from-
the York
from Jay
University
Leno.
Musician Society
Julian,
podcast.
sit here.
From Jay Leno to Jay
We're not
Janetta.
joking.
He's got shit
We
that
have
he's
a
gonna
rule.
put down from his pockets
I don't
so that
know
he
what-
can comfortably
Stop
sit
mouthing
down.
things to us and say them, you animal.
Phone needs to be charged.
We have.
Anyways, while
priority.
Julian's waiting, I'll finish explaining that
We
Jay
have like
Leno.
10 minutes before this podcast is over.
Okay. Anyways, Jay Leno was supposed to give the show to Conan. He did, but then NBC, I think it was NBC, gave him a show again before the Tonight Show. That was taking away from the Tonight Show's ratings, and that made Conan upset. And eventually, they just gave the show back to Jay Leno, and Conan was just like gone.
Yeah,
and then he ended up creating his own show.
On TBS
So
or
much
whatever.
better than
But
any
basically, it was
Alright.
mostly the network's fault, but Jay Leno was kind of being a baby about it. Anyways,
All
How you
right,
doing,
now we have to
Julian?
interview Julian.
Julian,
Good,
do,
what's up?
do you like
What's
any of
your
these
name?
TV shows?
What's your name, Julian? What do you do?
You know what it is.
What do you do, Julian? Huh? What do you
know
do?
what it is.
Why are you walking in on our podcast, Julian?
How many scarves do you own? Let's get
Good
real.
question. That's a good question. He wears
Let's
a
ask
lot of
what's
scarves.
on everybody's mind. How many scarves do you own?
Okay, well, I'm wearing a
One
blue
for every day of the year.
talking to the mic, Julian.
Speaking to the mic.
I'm wearing a blue one.
You know how
No,
this
sorry,
works.
I'm wearing a red one.
I'm
not
wearing a blue one.
Wow.
I'm tired. Okay, I'm wearing a red scarf. I bought it at Blue Nose for $5 like
You
3
bought
years
your
ago.
red scarf at Blue Notes.
$5.
Why would you buy a red scarf with blue notes?
Could you back up a
Red.
bit?
Back off from the microphone, Julian. You're hogging the microphone.
Like this close.
I like red.
Imagine a penis
Red's a
between
nice
you
color.
and the microphone.
So far, you're a bad guest.
Yeah. So far,
Bad.
see, you
Come on,
want
come
the
on,
penis
Julian.
in your
So
mouth,
far.
so you want to keep it between you and the microphone.
I don't know. I've only seen like
Right
3
now, you have
words.
penis in your mouth.
I haven't been given a chance.
Take
to
the
say
penis
much.
out of your mouth.
All right, Julian. Julian, today is Black Friday. Are you gonna go buy another scarf?
Good question. Good question.
Is today actually
I
Black
might buy
Friday?
a mouth guard for some of these guys instead. Since they're on sale.
Mouth guard.
As long as it comes with a scarf.
I need a mouth guard.
Nice.
I don't need the mouth guard.
Can you get us flavored mouth guards?
I
I'm
want
sure they
strawberry.
make them. They make flavored condoms. They have to make flavored mouth guards.
Dental dams.
Dental dams.
Do they got grape
So-
apple? I could go for some grape apple.
Grape apple. Grab apple.
Grapple.
Actually, since we're doing this podcast, who's coming out to the dot tonight?
Not me.
Qu'est-ce que
Really?
c'est
Yeah,
the
not me.
dot?
Really?
I have band
Bad
practice.
promo.
'Cause
Yeah, real bad promo.
Bad crowd to
No,
promote.
here we go. The Dot, Toronto's best kept secret tonight at the York.
That's
You
why I
guys
laughed.
aren't even
Fucking
gonna
know.
know. You guys aren't even gonna know because this podcast is gonna come out after the Dot. Well, you missed it. Okay, Julian played it. It was cool. There you go.
Wow.
No.
An event.
Oh,
Boom,
right. Yeah, this
underground.
isn't gonna come
Yeah,
out.
it's gonna
before
come
the
out like
Dot.
2 days after it comes.
Yeah,
the
but
Dot.
Wait, so
anyways,
this-
Where you
just so you guys know,
guys-
Julian represented Yums.
Rep
Now
it.
that by the time you hear this, he will have
Hopefully.
represented Yums
Hopefully.
at the Dot. And I mean, I want to say we hope that his performance is gonna go well, but obviously it is gonna go well because it's Julian. So swag.
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 Julian,
Yes.
do you wanna end this podcast for us?
Oh wait, what were you guys talking about? before
Nothing.
I
No,
ended
just-
it?
We were
That's
talking
not how you end
about-
a podcast.
Julian, you don't end it by making another
Don't
conversation.
talk.
Just end the
Don't
podcast.
start another
man.
conversation.
Keep going.
What?
No.
Boy.
How much time do we have?
So
Like none. The
Are
timer
you sure?
went off.
It
yeah.
did? Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know how end works?
Yeah.
Edwards.
Take your scarf and look at one end, and that's kind of the idea we're going for with the podcast. A point where there is no more podcast.
Okay.
We want to get to that
Well,
point.
yeah.
before we end the podcast, let's just ask you, Julian, what is your favorite TV show? Because that's what we were talking
There
about
we
before.
go. You get 5 seconds and then you end that.
If you do watch
5
TV,
seconds.
I watched.
And we're done. Roll the outro, Danny.
Exactly. Exactly. We need some milk cards for these guys.
Okay,
but
let's let him answer.
So my favorite show.
I'm a savage.
Go, Julian.
Close. No,
Julian.
I would say The Walking Dead. I love The Walking Dead, man.
We just spent like 20 minutes talking shit about The Walking
I
Dead.
love The Walking Dead. You know what? You guys already talking shit about me, so it only makes sense.
Fair enough. Danny,
yeah, Gabe.
roll that outro.
Rolling. See ya.
Bye. Goodbye.
Say bye, Amanda.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Boom.
And thank you, Julian, for coming on.
You did good.
You're very welcome.
Very nice, very nice.
You're
And now
good.
this is the end of the podcast.
Very good.
Very
You're a
good.
good boy, Julian.
Boy, good.
Now let's all
Boy,
get
good.
now let's
You're
all
good.
get really close to the
good.
Let me
microphone.
tell you, you're a good boy.
Let's get really close to the microphone right now, and let's just
When I met my girlfriend's parents,
closer.
her dad
Closer.
sat me down,
Yeah.
and he said to me,
What do you say?
he said, when you first get married, the man talks and the woman listens, and then
What
the
is this,
woman
the
talks and the man
1960s?
listens, and then by the end of the marriage, they both talk and the neighbors listen.
You should have told me right now that we're talking and I'm not listening. What?
Oh,
And then her mom cooked some
John
nice
Cena.
butter
You guys
chicken
are-
for
you guys are gonna have
guys.
your own radio show someday.
I hope we do. That'd be fucking great. Well, maybe.
Ready to leave.
Well, then if you're bye.
Again.
Roll the outro. Rolling.
Nice.
Rolling outro.
Rolling outro.
Oh,